Welcome back to Saturday Social, where we are joined by Alex and Fuad. Right, Joe, we saw Champions League squads announced, didn't we, this week? Max Dowman at the age of 15, including Arsenal. Rio Ngamoa, age 17, including in Liverpool. We also saw Esteval, another young player, scoring for Brazil. So it got us thinking of the level of Wonderkids that there are in the league right now. It gave us a nice idea, didn't it?
Yeah, we're going to build out our Wonderkids 11 from the Premier League this season. Now, we're going to categorise this as 21 or under, except for the goalkeepers, because there aren't really any to pick from in that position. So we'll allow 23 or under for keepers, but outfield players 21 or under. Should we start with goalkeepers?
Yeah, I think it's important to say as well, we're not basing it on this season.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
It's like the best ceiling, who you think's going to go on to have the best careers. So, who you gone with in
I've
sticks?
gone for Bart Verbruggen, who I think at Brighton has slowly come into his own. I think his distribution, his saving ability, I think second to none in my opinion. Looks like Holland have finally found a goalkeeper since Edwin van der Sar, because Lord knows since then there's been a bunch of howlers.
Big shoes to fill.
Cillessen, Stecklenburg, there's been a lot of bad Dutch goalkeepers, and he is the first one in a long time. I just feel like he's a safe, reliable pair of hands, and on top of that, he's got the distribution to go with it as well.
Alex, I want to ask you about this man here, because a lot's been made of Man United's goalkeeper position. They've brought a keeper in, a young keeper. You obviously know a lot about him. Tell us why you've picked him and what United fans can expect.
Pre-Man United tax, but he's got a really, like statistically, I think he prevented 18.4 goals last season. But Bruggen actually, I think, was 5.3. Obviously, I've got to account for the league difference, but he pops in the stats, crosses stopped, all that sort of stuff. In terms of watching him, he's big. He's a big boy. He's kind of Alisson-y, that sort of vibe. Ultimately, it just depends how he translates across the leagues, but he's got a very calm demeanour. Watching interviews and stuff, seems very sort of switched on, 23. I think they're both good picks, to be honest. I think ultimately this one, we haven't seen him in the league, so it's difficult to say. But if you just look at the data, which you probably shouldn't do in isolation, he really pops.
Statistically, he does look amazing, doesn't it?
Either of you willing to fold here?
For me, I want to stick with mine, because I feel like he's
stick
just
with
There's some I'll fight on, but I think
We'll stick there.
Let's go to right back, shall we?
I have
Josh
gone for...
Achapong and Rico, still only 20.
Rico's only
It's
20
so scary how young he is,
Insane.
because it feels like he's been around for about a decade.
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like. When he broke through, he was playing a variety of different positions, left back, centre mid, right back, and you almost felt like over the last few months he's lost his way a little bit. But I do think in terms of ceiling-wise, I think this kid's got a high ceiling. He ticks all the boxes of what you need in a modern-day fullback and in a modern-day midfielder, in my opinion. The question is Pep going to give him that trust? I think he's still got a lot of potential, and I think hopefully he will fulfill it, whether it's at Man City or not.
You've gone for Josh?
Yeah, I think this will be his breakout year. I think when you can dribble like he can at his height, it's a really, really interesting profile. He can play centre-back or right back. I think he's someone who... Do you remember when Chris Wilder had like the overlapping centre-backs? Yeah. He's like that sort of player who you could build a system around. He's that good in terms of getting out and sort of going forward, Calafiori-esque, if you want to say, on the other side. I just think with Rico Lewis, this is such like an easy talking point, but I do think the height limits him in terms of position. I think once he's found his position, I think he'll be a staple.
Either of you happy to concede with this one? It's your list.
I really liked him in the Conference League, and I think he does have a big future. The question I have is how much would he play this season in terms of that Chelsea team, even with the injuries that they've got this year, whereas I feel like Rico would be given
starting against Palace, to be fair.
There was Flirtate, was it Nottingham Forest, though, looking at him?
You know what, I'll give you Josh, because I do really like
Mix it up then.
I do really like Josh, I can't lie.
In terms of centre-backs, we always do this, as we do traditionally on Saturday Social. We'll go with the pairing. So let's have a look at what you've both got. I think there is... So you've gone Mosquera and Yoro. Kusanov and Yoro.
For the
so
Manchester
put Yoro
pairing.
straight up. Put Yoro up.
Yoro is without a shadow of a doubt for me. I
Absolutely
think he could be a contender for Young Player of the Year, in my opinion. His ceiling is top-notch. I think United was smart to get him when they did.
Unbelievable.
He's got so much to build around, so
Only
much raw
19
ability.
still as well.
Yeah.
Kusanov versus Mosquera.
I think with Husinov, everybody has been so scarred by that first 20 minutes in his Chelsea debut that's just what stuck with everyone's mind. But even during that game...
Do you think unfairly?
Unfairly, because in that same game, he recovered so well.
Yeah.
Second half of the season, I think there was a part where he didn't play, and for one reason or the other. But I think every time I've seen him, he has been a minimum 7 out of 10. And it kind of reminds me, in terms of his aggressiveness with Ruben Diaz, I feel like they're kind of cut from the same cloth, in all honesty.
Mosquera.
We saw Mosquera, didn't we?
Mosquera came on, did really well at Anfield. I think most minutes by any under-21 player for the last 2 seasons in Europe. He what I love about him is Saliba he carries the ball, but he often plays a safer pass. What I saw from Mosquera was that ball into the midfield, kind of being a bit more adventurous, sort of in possession. The recovery pace on Mosquera is frightening. And I know Kuznov is quick as well, but I really like. I think Mosquera has everything as a centre back, and I can see limitations in Kuznov's game.
As a signing as well, 13 million for a 21.
Such a good pickup.
I thought he did really well when he came in for the injured Saliba as well after 5 minutes. That's kind of last minute to step in like that.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
I just think with Kuznov, there's just so much pressure with the Man City defence kind of falling apart the way it has been. He has been maybe one of the few that's actually been a steady Eddie in that.
You willing to fold?
I will stick with my ball. I just think in terms of, if we're talking about ceilings, I can't see a limitation in Mosquera's game that he can't fix. I think there's some stuff in possession that I look at when he receives it, but I see limitations in Kuznov's game.
Mosquera then.
Mosquera takes it.
I think it's going to be 50% Arsenal backline.
As it should be.
It is. So you've got Miles Lewis. By the way,
I wouldn't have considered that one so easy.
For everyone, there's a lot of options at left back here in terms of how we're doing this under 21s. Hato age 19, Lewis Hall age 20, Dorgu 20, El Hadji Malik Diouf 20, Kirkez 21, Marl Lewis Skelly 18. So this is actually a stacked position for Wonderkids.
And you know what's funny as well is he won't be a left back. So
this was the annoyance, honestly. It feels like this season Arteta's almost gone, you know what, he's a full-time midfielder now.
I think with the signing of Nketiah, with Calafiori in the form he's in, Calafiori started the season really well, probably our best player. Also, the fact that we signed Norgard and not like a Baleba type player, I think he actually might have more time as a DM.
Where is his best position as an Arsenal fan?
He will be a number 6, number 8. Like he will play in the midfield eventually, but as a left back, I mean, ultimately in Arteta's system, he's given that license to come inside anyway. His dribble pass numbers, the way he uses his body, it's frightening. Like he's that.
See him up then.
And because of that, I actually thought he could have almost been like England's next left back with kind of how he owned that
Maybe he will be.
position
He
last
started a
year.
lot under Tuchel.
Shout out Lewis Hall as well. Big fan of Lewis
He
Hall.
backs himself as well, which I love. Absolutely love it.
Another agreement?
Okay. Move on to
This is
midfield. There's
another.
one name that you've agreed with, Adam Wharton, 21.
We're all just obsessed with Wharton.
What a player. Do you think he's the next big
100 mil player.
100 mil player? If you look at, for me, if you look at the players, there's not a huge plethora of players in that position. There are others. But in terms of the people that occupy that position and how many teams will end up needing a player of his ilk, do you think he is the next 100 mil?
Ice coldness he plays with, honestly, the composure that he has at his age, the technical ability to go with it as well, the close control, the passing. He is almost like the complete midfielder at such a young age when players become this normally at about 28, 29.
It's quite an easy thing to say, but if he was Italian, people would rate him more. And it's true. If he was Brazilian or whatever. Declan Rice did this interview where he talks about learning the 6 role at Arsenal, and he said one of the big things is like standing still and not feeling like you have to rush around all the time. And Wharton has that. He's just got that composure. If you want to access the centre of the pitch, someone who can take it in there and get you through here.
His one-touch passes.
Do you know what he is as well?
He's
a player you have to see live to really appreciate how good he is on and off the ball. I've seen him throughout his FA Cup journey last season. It's like against huge teams and in the Community Shield as well. You're actually blown away by how much he actually does. And he has got a very Spanish-esque way about him with how technically good he is. And speaking of Declan Rice, he did a great interview about talking about the crisp at which he passes the football. It was like
the weight.
Technically just a brilliant player. I think he's a tap-in. Stick him on the ball.
We're talking about £100 million players. Let's do your midfield pairing together, the two, because I think you've got another name that could have been a £100 million mover this summer.
Yeah.
Baleba.
Right, so you've gone Archie Gray and Max Dowman, still only 15, and you've gone Lucas Bergvall and again, potentially £100 million player and Carlos Baleba.
For me, I think Carlos Baleba is the truth. I think United missed a big trick in not signing him. He is one of those players I feel like that can revolutionise the midfield single-handedly because the physicality he brings, the way he's able to cover ground. I think his passing ability also gets very slept on, in my opinion. But then I'm surprised you've gone for Archie Gray because although Archie Gray is kind of more raw, I think Lucas Bergvall last season showed me more, whether that was in Europe, whether that was in the league. The consistency, the maturity. He came in, people were thinking he's a 10. Showed he can play in the 8. Played in a deeper role later in the season in the 6. I've been very, very impressed with how he is. I think he's due for a breakout.
What I think was amazing about Bergvall was he was put in so early because of the injuries, as was Gray to be fair, but in so many different positions, as was Archie. But played in so many big moments in different positions against huge midfielders at 19 and didn't look out of place as well. I think his ceiling is huge.
But is his ceiling as high as Max Dowman, who is potentially in a...
Dowman, the thing with it's not just that he every time he comes on the pitch he seems like he wins a penalty. Every time he comes on the pitch he matches people physically. he backs himself. He's on the touchline at Anfield, and I look at him at 15. I'm like, you're fine.
Yeah.
Literally, he's just like, yeah, whatever. Anfield, don't
So
care.
But you've got him in your midfield. Do you think that's where his future lies?
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
the middle.
Also because of who I got at right wing. But yeah, but yeah, I think Dauman, in terms of a ceiling of a player, I look at players like Waneri or whatever, and I worry about him because he'll find his place. But Dauman's coming. And he's in our Champions League squad. He's honestly, I've never seen a kid like this. It's
and that's
scary.
testament to how much he's rated by Arteta. When there's players that you've left out of that,
absolutely,
to put a 15-year-old in the Champions League squad.
Yeah, he's top.
Need a decision here.
I think so. I think sometimes you have to admit. Look, I think Archie Gray is now being underrated because maybe he's had a little bit of a drop off. He played in so many different positions. I think he's brilliant at everything.
Yeah.
Like he's actually quicker than you think. I think he can play forward. He can play. He's versatile, obviously, as we say. But I think for me, Baleba,
Can we just touch upon Carlos Baleba a bit more? Because obviously, Man United were heavily linked this summer, and you say, whoa. I think Baleba, Man United were heavily linked this summer. Do you not think United can just are going to go back in for him? I don't see why United aren't going to go back in.
In January they go back in for him?
I think United are going to go back in for him in January. I think they're going to go back in for him next summer.
Brighton would be willing to let him go in January, but I definitely think United do come back. And even if United don't, I think someone will, because what he is able to do in that midfielder, he's the perfect modern day midfielder.
And it's interesting because obviously, before we make a decision here, some of the names missed out here: Kobbie Mainoo,
Ethan
Waneri, Lewis Miley.
I want to shout out someone as well.
King.
Harry Howell, by the way. I don't know if you've seen him play. 17 years of age from Brighton, already capped in the Premier League. Played for England in the under 17 years. Such a versatile player. He's only 17. I want to shout him out. Brilliant player.
Yeah.
But no Kobbie Mainoo on here.
Not for now, I don't think. I think ultimately, when you have a three of Baleba, Wharton, and it should be Dauman, I think that's fair enough. I just think.
Yeah, we're just chucking alternatives. We're not saying they're ahead of them. It's just good for balance to chuck alternative names there.
For sure. The only thing I would say is Dauman has been playing out wide at the moment.
But his future is as a 10, isn't it? Isn't that where it's...
But we don't know.
I think you might have to do this because I've been the biggest Max Down fan for ages, but Lucas Bergwijn is one of my favourite Spurs players, so I think I'm biased here.
I think we're basing this on ceiling. I think Max Dauman, as we sit here today, is...
Barcelona wanted him.
At such a level, but everybody's wanted Max Dauman. Every club. I think we're talking about a player, at least... in football in circles, people are saying could be Wayne Rooney levels of talent. I think Max Dauman has to be in the
Yes. There's no wrong call there. Two great players.
Arsenal.
On the right.
I'm gutted for Bergwijn, but I can understand why you've gone down with ridiculous talent. Estevao, we mentioned it. 18 years of age, scored for Brazil. In the week, Chelsea fans are absolutely buzzing with this arrival. There was a great moment when Cole Palmer played against him as well, and he was just sort of blown away by his talent in the Club World Cup.
Got to deal with Nike at 10.
That's ridiculous.
That says it all.
I mean,
I think that says it all.
The fact that he's already broken into the 11 is incredible.
The debut against West Ham, I was just amazed because I'm thinking, how are you, first, new country, new team. Sometimes it takes players a few months to settle, and especially when you're that young coming into a Chelsea team where you've got Palmer, João Pedro already shining. He came in and took it like a duck to water, in all honesty. Quality player.
I think that's a big thing for him. I think players in his position, we've seen them before, go to Spain or go to different countries. I think the fact he's come to England, to Chelsea, to the Premier League to test himself, I really rate that. Because you've seen players not do that with that sort of technical level. So
yeah,
it's interesting, isn't it, how Chelsea are going to use him now, though? He's locked that right off now, because obviously Cole's out injured. So they've changed the balance of the team a little bit. But when Cole's back, is he going to go back into that 10 and Esteval's going to maintain that right wing position?
I think so, because none of the Chelsea wingers have really grabbed that position and made it their own. So it's really up for grabs. And I'm sorry, if an 18-year-old can come in and dazzle and give them something that they haven't had in that midfield before, I think
it's testament to how much he rates his own, how confident he is and rates his own ability to go to a club like Chelsea, where there's so much competition for places in that area, and go, no, I'll back myself, and I'm going to play. And it looks like he is that starting player.
A few other shout-outs here. I think obviously Tyler Dibbling, Savinho, Yakuba Minter. I think Minter started the season amazing. He looked so good against it.
Did the same last year as well.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Blistering pace.
On the left,
Alejandro. I have gone for Alejandro Garnacho. And
just explain your face as a picture then.
Garnacho. I just, it's not even related to his footballing ability. His attitude, man. I really struggle with it, which is not football, but I find that really putting off in the player.
I think that's the thing, though, is everybody's judging him for off-the-field things, and I almost starting to feel like he's becoming underrated at this point. And you look at the fee that Chelsea paid, 40 million.
What
I
did you
think
make
that's
of
a
that?
bargain, in all honesty, for what he has shown to date in his career. It's a guy who I felt like when United were down in the dumps, he turned up in big moments, scored in the FA Cup final, goal of the year, crazy goal contender against Everton. And he's had enough for me to, you know, have a manager put an arm around him and try and develop him. And it seems like United, he wasn't getting that. So now at Chelsea, you kind of hope it's a little bit of a better environment for him to actually fulfill his potential. But I still think there's a potentially very, very special player.
I think huge potential. I actually agree with you. I think he's got to the stage where he's underrated now, where people, I think, are using sort of the attitude issues that are perceived to have off the pitch. We don't really know, do we? We don't know how hard he trains. We don't know what he's like off the field. You know, there was not necessarily that sense earlier, was there, like a season ago, that there were these attitude issues off the field. So I don't know how true they are, honestly, because I feel like he's actually a fantastic player.
He also made the most appearances for Man United last season. More than any other player. So he was used, played most appearances, 58 of the 60 games he played in, so he was used regularly. Talks about Rio. I mean, to score in the Premier League for Liverpool,
fourth youngest.
at the age of 17 years of age. We're talking about a serious player here.
Fourth youngest. I think they broke their academy wage structure to get him from Chelsea a couple of years ago, which is a really, really good shout. Yeah. The one thing I'll say about him is he's a bit of a sort of Raheem Sterling-y dribbler. He's it's a bit busy, but I think once he works that out, I think I think you see the potential with him, and I think obviously the goal was top.
Yeah.
I think in terms of ceilings, if you're talking, I do think maybe Rio does.
Yeah,
have
if we're
a
doing it
higher
based
one.
on ceilings.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
he was actually 16 years of age and 361 days.
He looks
to be
like
exact.
he'll be
I think the fact that Liverpool this summer, you know, allowed Luis Diaz to leave the club and didn't really go out there and target an out-and-out natural left winger, as Arne Slot has spoken about in press conferences and in media, because partly they knew that Rio was coming. Like the fact that Rio is of that level at that age to be able to be a starting player for a Liverpool side,
Left Chiesa are out
competing for the Champions League and the league title is crazy.
But they did make a lot of investment in those forward areas.
Yeah, but not on that left.
Yeah.
Not on the left. They lost Diaz and didn't replace it.
Yeah. Right, last player. Striker.
This is probably the weakest area, is it, do we think?
I think there's not loads of under 21
Yeah.
forwards to choose from here.
yeah, I've gone with Matthias Tell. I mean, got to try and get a Spurs player in it somehow. But
What do you make of him being left out of the Champions League squad?
honestly, disappointing, because someone who, when he came on loan, we paid 10 million loan fee initially, and the talks was we were going to pay 60 million. We got that down to 30 million. I don't think he's really been given a chance at Bayern Munich or at Tottenham Hotspur, in my opinion. I really hope this season he could break out, because the under 21s for France in the summer, him and Odegaard looked really, really good in my opinion. The question I have with him is, what's his best position? Is it on the left or is it through the middle? And I think he needs to find that out really quickly, because he could be a good player, but you just don't know where exactly.
I know what you mean about watching him. He's a player I think that would benefit from a run of games from a confidence perspective. You disagree? You've gone with a different player?
Ironically, I think Tell's biggest weakness is this guy's biggest strength. This is one of those sort of slightly hipster picks that I'll clip up if he ever does well.
Well, you'll ask us to clip up for you and send it to you.
Yeah, look, I think when Brighton pay £20 million for an 18-year-old, you've got to look up. And I think he's on his debut, he scored 2 goals in the EFL Cup. It's going to take him some time, but he's one of those players. I think he's already at like a goal every other game in his record. He went out to Nuremberg last season. Or maybe the season before, but he's sort of old school, sort of Diego Costa-y type strikers who don't look like the quickest or the strongest or the fastest, whatever, but just bags goals.
Need a decision? Anyone happy to?
I feel like you folded on quite a few. Are you going to allow him to have
you folded on quite a few. I'll give it that.
There we go. We've got someone in.
Spurs fan and get one in there. So there we go. So there is Alex and Fuad's 11 of Wonderkids that are going to break out and have huge ceilings this season. I think that is a very strong 11. All right.